got a question. Pastor Donnell. All right. So as you were, well, actually, as I was watching the video, it reminded me of a previous event that you had when it talked about the 1% and this and that. And I saw another documentary done by one of the Johnson & Johnson heirs. And he went against the grain to interview people in his family about the wealth of his family. And it was always hush hush. They never talked about it. And they're one of the top 1% families. And they have these meetings where the top families, you have to qualify to be in the meeting. Or the amount of money, like they verify your money, like kind of like the check mark on Instagram or whatever, but money verified. And one of the things that came up in the meetings where he couldn't film in the meeting because they were all hush hush, but they were afraid for someone else outside of their circle to attain wealth because they didn't trust that they knew what to do with it. So I think when you talk about how your father was so willing to tell you what to do, exactly what to do, and how you're the same way, I appreciate that so much because I think that's something in our culture we just don't have. I have to have more money than you to prove that I'm a man or that I want you to look up to me. And I think that mentality just keeps growing in our community where it doesn't need to. Because I make money, I can help you make money, and then you can help someone else and someone else and someone else. You can multiply yourself as opposed to dividing yourself. But the question I have, that wasn't a question.
That's fine. That's a good preamble. And the Constitution. Go ahead.
So when you pray and God blesses you with a nice amount of money, how do you resist that urge to buy something that you couldn't afford, where it made you so sad that you needed it and you couldn't afford it? And now you have the money. How do you resist that urge to spend right then?
That's good. We go back to that whole transition time that each person has to go through, where you step over from the realm where money has you into the realm where you have money. And it's a strange transition. For example, when you don't have money, there are things that you crave for that you, man, when I get money, I'm going to get that. When I get money, I'm going to do this. When I get money, I'm going to do whatever. Because at that point in time, you couldn't get it, and it consumed you because you're like, you know, as I said, money attaches itself to your emotions. Money is an emotional thing. How much you have, how much you don't have, or whatever. And that emptiness of, I can't get this, translates into, now that I have the money, let me fill that emptiness with that thing. Because I remember when I couldn't get it. It's just like vengeance. It's the same thing. It's like vengeance. Where, you know, whatever it is, it's relationships. That girl who rejected you, and you can't wait for the day. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, but you can't roll by her single though. You gotta have somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still looking soft if you come by single. You know what I'm saying? You got yours, and she way finer than her, and your stuff's tight, and you roll by and like, what you doing? Good. And you just keep walking. I mean, you don't even want to know. It's that whole vengeance thing where I couldn't get this before, I'm going to get it now. And it's still a sign of you have not gotten over the emotional attachment to money, because you still need to get that thing, and the money gets you that thing now. And I'll give you an example. I remember, you know, I always wanted a Benz. I'd be like, I'm getting a Benz, I'm getting a mansion, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, you know. And I remember when I got to the point where I could afford to buy that kind of car. And it's like, when you get there, and I'm like, I don't need that. Like, what does that do for me? Like, it no longer fills a void. It doesn't do anything for my identity. My identity is secure in God now, where I just know who I am. I don't need that. And it's like, you get to that point where you just think it's silly now. Like, I remember when, as a kid growing up, I used to always want these nice sneakers and all these different It wasn't Jordan. Jordan was just one of them. But all these different fancy Nikes and Reeboks and back in those days, all those brands were hot. Now they're not hot. Fila was hot. Puma was hot. That kind of stuff. And we couldn't afford it, you know? And when I got money, I bought it for my little brother. Because he was still young and he wanted it. And I just was like, I don't need this. Sneakers is for the gym. So what's the cheapest workable sneaker I can get for the gym? Because I'm just going to tear it up. I don't need no nice sneaker. I don't care. It's for the gym.
People with nice sneakers don't go to the gym.
That's the point. I'm like, what am I doing with this? It's like just everything just changed. It's like I don't need it. It does nothing. It does nothing for my identity. My identity is not connected to my finances. So as a result, I don't have to do something to feel something, do something financial, which is why they talk about when people depressed, how they can go shopping and make them feel better. It don't make me feel any better. You know what I'm saying? It's like it doesn't have the power to cure anything anymore. And that's why one of the things, and I always will love Pastor Dollar. You know, one thing Pastor Dollar always say is, money's an amplifier. Whatever it is that you are before you have it, if you are the same person when you get the money, all it's going to do is amplify it. Be like, that money changed him, but it didn't change him. He was always like that. He just couldn't afford to let you see it. Now that he has the money, he will let you see it. And it's two things. And it's like money was one. Money and power are amplifiers. You get money, you get power, the real you comes out. It's like a friend of yours gets promoted. And you'd be like, man, you were cool all the time. Look at you acting like a fool now. Golly. Look at you. It's like, look at you. Oh, you got a little money now. Look at you. Acting all special. But you always were like that. And that's the thing. It's like, you got to get victory over money. And like, and the thing about God is, he wants that first before he gives it to you. That's why he told the disciples, leave all your money here. Now go. And they're like, but how are we going to? You'll be all right. And then when they come back, everybody's good, take the money now. It's that same mentality. And sometimes he does that to us. He'll take all your money. All. You look around and you're like, gosh, hey, rock bottom. And God's like, yep. He's like, so what are we doing now? You see what I'm saying? I mean, you're real. And God does that, he does that with everything. He does that. He did that with me with the ministry. He did that with everything. He said, Donnell, if this is all you ever have, if this never gets to be anything, you never get famous, nobody comes, it's empty, it's just you and your wife, would you be satisfied? Would you be disappointed? Would it be okay? And I was like, I'm good. I'm happy. I guess I'm going to preach to chairs and be happy. Why? I did what God said. And when you get to that point with your life, then God says, I can give you something because it doesn't have you. And that's the thing. It's like when you get to that point, that's why we got old money and new money. New money, God's to do something. I got to go spend this. I got to buy that. I got to bling. And that's why we have to in the book. A lot of these young Negroids get their first football contract. Get their first football contract, get their first record contract or whatever. Don't know what to do with it. I mean, listen, I love Evander Holyfield. When I say love, good guy. He told a story. He said when he was young, didn't have a table to eat. And he said to himself, when I get money, I'm going to get the biggest table everybody could eat. He got a table that like 40 people can eat on. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I didn't have anything when I grew up. I'm like, when I made it, he lost all. If you don't get past that, when I get money, I'm gonna. If you don't get past that, you're gonna go right back to broke. That's what happens to the athletes. That's what happens to the entertainers. The money still has them, and they get the money, and they think, yes, now I'm a. That's why when the lottery winners win, now I'm a. I couldn't, but now I'm a. And they end up break again. God has to give you victory over money. And then he give you money, you'll never be broke again. Amen. Different mentality. Amen. We talked about it in here, about the children of Israel. He was like, look, here's what's going to happen. They're like, we need food, we're hungry. They're in the wilderness. And God was like, all right, that's fine. When you wake up in the morning, you're going to see this thing on the ground after the dew raises. Eat it. All right? But each family could only take enough for one day. They go out. As soon as they see the thing on the ground, the one translation calls it, like, it was like a hoarfrost. The person, they said, what is this? And that's what manna is translated into. What is this? And they go and they take enough for one day. There was always that one or two. Unfortunately, you know, what that probably one of us, you know, we like one day. I don't know what tomorrow could be like. Let me go and take a lecture. Stuck a lecture, and scripture says, true to form, if you took any extra, it turned to worms in the morning. And then Friday night, God was like, okay, on Friday, when you go out, I need you to take enough for 2 days. Because nothing's going to come out on Saturday. So they would go and they would take enough for 2 days. There will always be the one or two who will come on Saturday morning. Let me see. And there'll be nothing there. The lesson God wanted to show them was, you have to be satisfied sometimes with enough for what you need. And trust that God will take care of the next amount that you need. And your confidence becomes in the Lord and not in that thing. That's the whole, give us this day our daily bread. Here is my daily bread. Tomorrow I'll ask you for my next day's bread. And there's a phase in each of our lives that we go through where that's the only way we will make it. God, I can't worry about tomorrow. Jesus said that. Tomorrow is going to deal with itself. I need to make it through this. And then the next time, I need to make it through this. And there's a season for that. And then you get to that season where it's the Friday. Where it's like, I'm going to take you out today and tomorrow. And all of a sudden you're like, when you get the two in your hand, if you consume all on Friday, you can't go out Saturday playing, let me look and see if anything's there. Teach a different lesson. Can you have in your hand more than you need and only consume what you need? Can you do that? Do you have the capacity to do that? So one day I'm teaching you, trust me for what you need. I'm only going to give you what you need. When you get up in the morning, I'm going to give you more. And the other lesson is, and if I give you more, could you be trusted not to consume any extra? And they had to learn that lesson. Those are lessons they learned in the wilderness. Why? Because once they left the wilderness, they were going into a land that was overflowing with milk and honey. A land of excess, a land of plenty. And God was like, you got to be ready first. And there were lessons that they learned during the wilderness time that they were able to use when they got there. And that's the thing that God does with all of us too. And we don't want to get stuck in the wilderness, just like the children of Israel, in that phase, because we never got victory over money. We still got to learn the same lesson. All right, you don't get it. Let me give you just enough again. And I need to trust me for tomorrow. All right, you don't get it. Let me give you just enough and a lecture. And see if he'll eat the extra too. And then come back to me like, God, you didn't provide for me. Yes, I did. What did you do with that? As soon as I get money, you spent it. You ate the extra day's manna. This was for tomorrow. And that's fundamental lessons you learn in that wilderness phase of finances that you wouldn't need in your promised land phase of finances. But if you don't learn it there, you're not going to be able to function when you have more than enough.
Thank you for that answer.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. All right. We good on the question?
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
If there's any more questions?
Okay.
You're welcome.